For decades, it's been one of the world's greatest mysteries, right? A patch of ocean that just seems to swallow ships and planes whole. But is the Bermuda Triangle really some kind of paranormal vortex? Or is there a much more logical explanation we've all been missing? Well, today we're going to try and solve the legend. The whole legend of the Bermuda Triangle was really built on these chilling stories. And honestly, none is more famous than this one. Those were some of the last words heard from the leader of a mission that would pretty much forever cement the triangle in our imagination. So picture this. It's December 5th, 1945. 5 U.S. Navy bombers with 14 airmen on board take off from Florida. It's supposed to be a routine training exercise, but about an hour and a half into the flight, the leader, a guy named Lieutenant Charles Taylor, gets on the radio to the control tower, and his message is, well, it's alarming. He says all of their compasses are malfunctioning. They literally have no idea which way is west. And if you think that's strange, the mystery only got deeper. That same evening, they send out a search plane to go find these lost bombers. But get this, shortly after it takes off, it too, along with its entire 13-person crew, just vanishes. No wreckage, no debris, just gone.
Now, here's the thing. This baffling incident wasn't just a one-off, not by a long shot. It was actually part of a much bigger pattern of strange disappearances, all concentrated in this one very specific and now notorious stretch of the Atlantic Ocean, right between Florida, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico.
You know, the idea of a cursed patch of ocean didn't just pop up overnight. It was built piece by piece over centuries. You could actually find reports of strange phenomena going all the way back to Christopher Columbus. And then you have these huge incidents, like the USS Cyclops vanishing with over 300 people. And of course, Flight 19, which really added fuel to the fire. But the legend didn't get its famous name until 1964, when an author named Vincent Gaddis finally called it the Bermuda Triangle. And just to give you an idea of the scale we're talking about, this is a massive 500,000 square mile patch of ocean. Within this huge area, more than 1,000 ships and planes have reportedly vanished in the last century alone, often without leaving a single clue behind. So, with a history this strange and just so many unanswered questions, it's really no wonder that people started searching for answers. And this led to a total flood of theories, ranging from the purely fantastical to the deeply scientific. And you know how it goes, right? Where there's a lack of hard information, speculation just tends to rush right in. Stories of alien abductions, portals to other dimensions, they became wildly popular. And they were often fueled by accounts that really embellished the details just to make the mystery seem even bigger. Look, those stories are captivating for sure, but they aren't exactly evidence. So let's pivot away from the myth and get into the method. What does science have to say about what's really happening in the triangle? All right, let's move into the evidence-based theories, because this is where we start to build a completely different picture, one that's based not on speculation, but on geology, physics, and meteorology. Okay, so here's one really compelling theory, and it points to the ocean floor itself. Scientists have discovered these vast craters down there that can erupt with methane gas. Now, imagine a ship just happens to be sailing over one of these eruptions. The water around it would suddenly fill with bubbles, and it would lose all its density. That means the ship loses buoyancy and sinks so fast, there's just no time to send out a distress call. And what about those malfunctioning compasses from Flight 19? Remember those? Well, some researchers have a theory for that too. It's this idea of an electronic fog, a bizarre atmospheric condition that could be created by electromagnetic anomalies unique to this area. This fog could literally cling to an aircraft, scramble its navigation, and completely disorient the crew. And all of this points to a really crucial idea. The real answer might not be one single phenomenon. Instead, it might be a unique and really powerful convergence of natural forces that just happened to make this region incredibly treacherous. Think about it. 3 powerful natural forces all converge right here. First, you've got the Gulf Stream. It's basically a massive river within an ocean, and it's so powerful it can sweep wreckage away in just a few hours. Second, extreme weather. This area is a factory for sudden, violent storms. And third, if a vessel does sink, it could fall into the Puerto Rico Trench, the deepest part of the Atlantic. We're talking nearly 28,000 feet deep. Anything that goes down there might never be found. So, when you combine the potential for simple human error with this volatile mix of natural forces, rogue waves, brutal weather, extreme ocean depths, the whole mystery starts to look less like a paranormal event and more like a predictable, if totally tragic, outcome.
And hey, this isn't just a theory. This is the official conclusion from the people who know these waters best. The U.S. Coast Guard, in their own review, has flat out stated they don't even recognize the Bermuda Triangle as a specific area of hazard. For them, there really is no mystery to solve.
So let's just break it all down. Myth versus reality. The myth imagines this mysterious paranormal vortex. The reality? It's just a very busy shipping lane with some uniquely challenging conditions. The myth claims there's an abnormal number of disappearances, but the data shows the number is actually statistically normal when you factor in the sheer volume of traffic and how often severe weather hits the area. And to put it all in perspective, look at this. 1,000 incidents over a century. Yeah, that might sound like a lot, but it's a statistical drop in the bucket compared to the millions of flights and voyages that pass through that area safely every single year. The percentage of losses just isn't any higher here than in any other heavily trafficked part of the open ocean. So in the end, all the evidence really suggests the Bermuda Triangle is less of a physical place and more a product of our own imagination. It seems like we just prefer a thrilling mystery over a complicated scientific explanation. So maybe the real unknown isn't out there in the ocean, but right here, in our enduring fascination with a good story.